Why don't you shut that ship off and show me what's going on inside? Sure thing.
Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the GREYCAT MDC. Let's go ahead and take a look. Welcome back to another review. Thank you What124, Cypher1, WinRar 42 for assisting with today's review. Taking a look at the GREYCAT MDC. This thing is a complicated machine, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, there is a lot of issues with how this thing performs compared to how the advertisement for it or the video explaining this ground vehicle, I was going to say ship, actually, does things. So first I'll start off with the gun on the top. Doesn't seem to go down and retract unless with the power on and off button with the weapon. To retract that, you cannot turn on the power system to your vehicle, only the engines. So right now, the whole power system is powered off, but if I turn on the engines, it will not rise. I can still drive the vehicle and it'll stay right where it's at. Now, if you turn on the actual power systems by hitting U on the keyboard or flight ready, then the whole thing will just rise. It'll be complicated to put in a ship, and it's not a great time. Another thing is taking a look at the screen here. Per the advertisement or the behind the scenes video or whatever you want to call it for this thing, it is shown taking out bombs in the sky, right? Which we tested multiple ways, multiple different times, right? And it does, but only if the ship launching them is red to you and your party and has been red for a little while, will it actually target the bombs. As you can see right here, it's targeting the bomb, it destroys the bomb, woohoo, we have something that destroys the bomb. But the problem being is, not every time a bomber comes into scene is it a red target. A lot of the times you have an A1 coming in or an A2 coming into a Hathor site or multiple other areas, and they just drop a bomb, they're not red, and that bomb flies in and destroys everything. Now, this will not attack that bomb. It doesn't see it as a threat. Even though the bomb can wipe out a whole city block, there's no threat to it. It's not going to engage it, and the whole thing just becomes pointless. This thing is just a nice showpiece that gets destroyed in a matter of a few seconds. And that's honestly really too bad. Now, the PDC that comes on this thing, first let's talk about the price. This thing is $45 war bond or $50 store credit. If you were to buy it on the pledge store right now, or wait for it to show up in game in probably a couple months, and it'll be a pretty cheap price then with UEC. And then it has a 5 minute and 6 second claim time, and then it has 1 minute and 18 second expedited claim time, which isn't bad at all. You can definitely put a lot of these out there at a site to help try to protect the air, right? But then let's talk about the gun that it comes with. It's a ballistic PDC, right? So it has 360 burst damage per second because it's the MRX Torrent PDC ballistic Gatling gun. It has a rate of fire of 1,200 rounds per minute with 5,000 max ammunition and a 1,600 round speed. Now, that's not terrible by any means, but I'm going to be honest with you right now. When you're engaging a fighter from the ground and as a PDC, it's not doing enough damage to be worth much. It really isn't, and you'd have to have like probably 5, 6, or 7 of these things staying consistent on a target to actually do much to an enemy fighter, and that's honestly not great. It took a long time for a fighter to, take about 5 or 6 strafe runs just to take a little bit of damage, and then we kind of just sat it there for a minute and watched it shoot, and over time it finally chipped away and destroyed that ship. But it wouldn't be quite useful, as you would think, with just one of these things. You would need a whole net of these things. And then, of course, that bomb situation, and we even tested it with torpedoes. If that torpedo bomber comes in and launches a torpedo, and for some reason they don't go red right away, this thing isn't going to track. The torpedo is going to fly in, it's going to do its damage. Like if someone dumbfires a torpedo, this thing is as useless as the rock next to it, right? So that's not a good thing. You're looking for this thing to protect the area around you, and so it should see a torpedo or bomb of any type, whether it's coming from a red target or not, as a threat, because it is a threat, and anything other than that would not be good. Now, it does have one size 0 pin civilian grade C shield generator, outputting 545 bubble shield, which is average among ground vehicles that actually have a shield, and you have 16,990 ship HP, or ground vehicle HP, which is all right. It's enough HP to withstand a few hits, but honestly, if you get strafed by a single Gladius that's low flying with a bomb on it, that size 3 bomb will just wipe you out before the PDC even gets the chance to turn around and go, who are you? And that's not good. Now, for countermeasures, nothing really there. And then you do have 23.63 SCU of hydrogen fuel. So it's enough to drive around for a very long time. And don't get me wrong, this thing drives around beautifully. Very beautiful driving experience. And I gotta say, this thing has a lot of potential. A lot of potential. But in the current state, it's not good. It's something I honestly would just use as an LTI token for right now, unless you buy 6 of these things and you take the time to properly set them up around a hole. And I would still not expect it to do as much as you're hoping. Now let's take a look at the outside and inside of this vehicle while we're sitting here and see what this thing comes with. Again, that PDC is right there, the ballistic PDC, and yes, you can take that off and put it on different ships that have PDC points, which it's not a bad gun by any means, and you could potentially do that like on your Perseus and everything, but you have to remember it does have limited ammo compared to a laser PDC or the rocket PDC. Now, speaking of that, the rocket PDC does not work at all right now in 4.4. You put it on this, it won't target anything, it won't shoot anything, it's just bugged. You put it on your Perseus, it gives you fire control as the pilot, and it doesn't act as if it's actually a PDC. There's something wrong with that thing, so don't put it on. Don't put it on for whatever you do. Don't. It's not going to work. Now, here at the back of this craft, if you open it up, I called it a craft, whatever, you do have 2 areas for smaller SCU containers here, which is really awesome. You can go ahead and put that here and carry those around. Maybe one day you'll be able to put more ammunition in for the gun, and it'll just keep supplying it, which would be really cool. And then if you walk around to this side, you have a nice storage container on the exterior, which holds 750,000 micro SCU of storage, which is actually pretty good. And then we're going to make our way around to the front, around to the other side, and we'll check out the door here. You do have the fuel port. If you go ahead and hit that, it'll pop right on out. And then if you hit the door control, we'll go ahead and open up this door and take a look on the interior here. Now, the interior is much smaller than the MTC because they have to fit that bed back there with the ballistic Gatling gun. You do have all your access points for everything you'd need. You just go ahead and hit all these buttons, go ahead and open it all up. Right here, you got some blade areas, you got some computer areas, all these things for your components, a relay station, and a engineering terminal. As well as you look to your left, you have a weapons rack with 4 rifles and 4 handguns, as well as potentially, nope, just handguns and rifles. That's it. And then you have a fire extinguisher. So the funniest thing I thought about this was you have an engineer terminal and a fire extinguisher in a 3x3 room here. which is just fantastic, by the way, because when you're sitting in the cockpit, you're gonna be like, is something burning? And then you turn around and you're engulfed in flames. So grabbing that fire extinguisher is going to be a pleasant time as you're standing here going, as you're burning alive. So quite the interesting experience indeed. Now let's go ahead and get into that cockpit and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm gonna, well, not about the fire and burning alive, but I'll show you what I mean about turning on this thing. So right now it's not on by any means, right? So gun is still down. If I go ahead and hit I on the keyboard, look at this. The power systems don't come on, but my engines come online. This thing doesn't go up. So I can drive around and have a good time without that gun up and even load it into some of my ships, which is fantastic. Now if I go ahead and hit I and turn that off, so if I'm hitting a W, nothing happens, and then I hit U, this will turn on my power systems, which will then rise this ballistic Gatling from the Earth, the grave of that is what it is. Oh, it's tracking something too. And it has fantastic tracking, by the way. Very fantastic tracking when it's needed. But then you power the system on, you can't load it into a ship if it has a low ceiling, so that's never any good. Now, if we were to look around in the dashboard, you do have a nice button here that says deploy. You do that, it deploys nice little armor on the side of your windows here, which is really cool. Go ahead and retract that. And then you do have other access points for your interior, exterior, power, all that kind of stuff. Even lights on and off in the inside of your vessel here. So that's pretty cool. So with that, do I recommend this thing? Maybe as an LTI token? Sure, that would be a fantastic LTI token. And in the future, this might actually be worth more as a ground vehicle with the PDC. But right now, it's a hard pass for me. I love the design, I love the look, I love the idea. I really do, and I think it's beautiful, but it's just not ready. The gameplay feature is not ready. The fact that it tracks a bomb that only comes from a red ship and not just a bomb in general is just bizarre to me, bonkers, right? So yeah, let me know what you think of the PDC and this vehicle here down in the comments below. Is the MDC something you're excited for? What do you think? Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. You all are amazing. And of course, I'll see you all in the next one. If you're building a new PC, go through longshipindustries.com, a veteran-owned mom-and-pop business that takes pride in every single build. He built my personal rig, which you can actually see featured on the website. The care, warranty, and customer support are top tier. Trust Longship Industries for your next build.